between these two teams. Get Right sitting there waiting for the push. They're waiting for Get Right. It's as if they know they've done their homework. And Get Right as well, just throwing his gun there. He knows that they're waiting for him. That is quite awesome. Now, both teams will be, so far, standing strong with the full 5. That said, now Pitt's going to find himself a quick angle for a headshot. And everything changes into Get Right. They go. 2 quick headshots from him. That's not how you want to do this one. And it's just Yam left with 35 health. After all that waiting, they get crushed.
Good start for NiP, and almost no one from NiP saw action in that round, which means lots of people who bought Kevlar will get a helmet for $350 instead of having to buy 1,000. So that is a huge advantage to that round as well for NiP, and that does allow them to have a better buy here than they otherwise might do, and afford themselves more stuff. So that's important for NiP going forwards. We have the force buy from Renegades, sans Ricky, who will be saving for the AWP, of course. Primary AWPer for the side. Man, we've had the joy of watching from our own offices in boot camps with his former teams. Renegades with 1 flashbang. Force buy and 1 flashbang, so they're looking to do damage to the CT economy. And maybe they'll need that more than normal because of the those cheap upgrades to the armor for NiP.
Yeah, I'm creeping, looking to lead with the Deagle here. Praying that somebody from NiP will think, I've got the range advantage. And then he gets one shot by Yam. That's how it was going in Yam's head there for a moment. But NiP playing it very passively indeed. Their setup is very strong to deal with B splits. Their setup is not so good at denying presence onto the A-bomb side. You can see Pitt's there, but there's no one to actually stop them from actually getting the bomb down as they throw the nades across. Ooh, the pops come in though. There goes Freiburg, but Pitt gets himself some taps, and that's going to slow them down. Maybe the bomb's not even going to go down here.
Oh, this Deagle's putting in work. NiP, the advantage disappears, and maybe there are guns to collect. Yam not going out just yet, though. He needs to get this bomb down for his team. He knows where one player is, not sure where the second one is, so not willing to face. So indeed, he doesn't have the map control. That's a nice one dig, but where is the last player? Repositioning himself for short, but Forrest, he's coming in from long. Yam's got a crap gun, but he has the range. He has, he has the health advantage. Man, Freiburg he got ruined running towards the site. Got one dig immediately, zip him up. That is a very unexpected round win from Renegades. Probably a surprise to them as well.
Yeah, very upsetting if you're NiP to lose a round like that. I mean, Renegades were quite fortunate. They decided to just go for the push onto A. And because you got just pistols, it's quite hard to play for information. So you do, in some cases, have to gamble it. And they picked the least defensible site in the way that the setup was for NiP. So that worked out beautifully there for Renegades. Now they just have to run themselves a good anti-force buy them, and they will be fine. They'll be, you know, grabbing some momentum in this one, and all will be lovely. However, oh, okay, it does look like they're setting up for a straight-up push into B. This is a great way to make this scout less effective. Forrest will not be able to get off too many shots if they play the grenades right before he's got a bunch of T's in his face.
We'll see, Forrest trying to be active, get right with the CZ. Should be good for at least 1 kill. Tagging coming in from his teammate as well, but can't get anything else done. Nice snap there from Forrest. Exits, can he get the follow-up? No, he can't. Pitt and Freiburg remain. Most of the guns in the site, so that won't help. Pitt's miles away in T-spawn for the time being. Freiburg close. Got to be careful of any pushes from these players. Bomb not being planted just yet. Now it is behind the double stack. Scout has been collected. Now Freiburg can try and run distraction, maybe get a wallbang or 2. Well, Pitt does what he can. He's got Kevlar and Deagle. Ooh, he's been lining up some shots, but no. Ricket has other ideas, and Freiburg tries to save the Scout. Not going to happen. They get wiped out completely. Another round in the bag for Renegades.
Forrest gave them a real chance there. I think Forrest got about 300 damage or something at least in this round. I think he connected with 3 or 4 players. And he did get a double in one of his shots. So between him and Get Right, they did actually an amazing job defending that. And it's unfortunate their teammates could not clean up the very weakened players, but such is life. NiP now on the save. I like how they've got the single flashbang onto Forrest. Exist had an AG, and he threw it to cover the cross. And that's very interesting there. You can see the NiP have a plan here. They wanted to cover the cross. They don't want to give vision to Renegades how many players they're stacking around middle. And their play with the flashbang will be to get themselves in on mid.
The Renegades charge straight into B with 2 people, so they know where the CTs aren't. Rikke very patient, 2 HP, nerves of steel though. He's ready to rock. That's a great start. That's a great sign from Renegades as well. Not panicking in that situation, just coolly picking off the players one by one. That bodes well. He's got $9,000 in the bank. He'll throw his AK and pick up that AWP immediately. We have Mr. Jarebko shouting out the ELEAGUE qualifier. Pit is AWP, no armor on the CT side on this buy round. We've got Forest on the MP7. Gun you don't see so often. Better moving accuracy than the UMP. $500 more expensive.
This is a really fast timing from Yam. A really viciously fast timing from Yam on short. I don't think they're going to expect this. He's going to hear all this running. He's surely going to drop down. Here it goes. Yam in from the back. They're all lining up, but Yam's spray comes in. Freiberg turns around just in the nick of time to trade the kill. And the T side for Renegades here, they will go down a man, but they've created quite some turmoil and chaos, and the chaos might be all that JKS needs. There goes Freiberg. Oh, Exist is so... He's got to be so careful, man. 20 HP for him.
I don't think Renegades realized that it was a boost in the first place, but then Exist like, I'm here as well. Down to 20 HP indeed, but there's still a round to fight for. The site's been taken by Renegades. Yusilo trying to hold down the short position. That smoke will definitely help. But he's got a wrong angle. Get right straight in the jaw, son. JKS is here as well, but how many is he good for? Continuation is probably not good enough. Get right takes the frag, leaving Rikke alone on the site. He doesn't know where the second player is. Exists on the low ground. How does Rikke get himself in position? He spots Get Right. Nice duck as well, but he can't get the frag. He's in trouble. The no-scope comes in, and now can he get this shot to Get Right? He's got 10 HP. He has to land it, and he does. Rikke beasting on the A site. That is gross. Lovely stuff from Renegades.
Yeah, a bit of clutch stuff out after a missed shot. I was a bit worried for Rikke there, but he pulls it out of the bag nonetheless. That's actually... I think multiple situations where we've seen Rikke come out huge for his team. We saw the situation with the Deagle on the UMP, I believe, and then the 4 kills where he could probably easily have gone down with the AK against the Eco after 2. But he holds on to it, and now we see some lovely stuff with the AWP as well. So Rikke, if he continues to be playing like this, there's definitely going to be problems for NiP. He's on 8 kills at the moment. NiP onto the Deagles. And we're probably going to see some classic setups from them with those. Presence here towards Catwalk for them. But still, with this Mac-10 could prove some problem, but no, it looks like the Deagle and the P250 is a good combo for NiP. That's going to bring them to a 5 versus 3, and there is real opportunity now for the Swedes.
On the plus side for Renegades, NiP abandoned the short position after those frags. That allows Renegades to pick these stronger weapons. There was a Mac-10 in tow that's been disposed of now. NiP moving 3 people towards the long area, trying to hold down some map control should A be taken. Playing this close ranges. JKS doesn't want to overextend here. This is awkward positioning now. Bomb rotating to top mid. Heading towards short though, in Rikke's hands. Get right in Forest, firmly resting on B for the time being. They've got a numbers advantage to the NiP side. And if Renegades, if they make it over towards A, Exist is there, but it's going to be awkward for them to hold down A and the short position. So NiP's... Oh, man! Exist, please! He's got teammates coming in and toe. There's no frags, not a single kill. They barely touched anyone in that round, in Renegades.
Yeah, I love the approach for NiP there. They go 5 versus 3. They don't try to continue pushing or go for the guns or anything like that. They just hold positions, and they force Renegades to have to try to go through these choke points and Exist. I was thinking, okay, if he gets one shot, that's going to make life really hard for Renegades. Renegades still have a chance, but NiP looking good, but he just cleans up everyone. As the, just so on point is Exist.
Mate.
Double AWP now for NiP. Forest and Pit, that's always scary on Dust 2. We'll have to see how it comes into play. Renegades going for a default, though, with their early movements on the map, as are NiP. We're going to see NiP, instead of putting 3 on A, though, we'll get what is better versus the B splits, better for mid presence and having Exist on middle. And look at this, very fast pace out of the doors. Exist, and Forest defending remarkably well.
This is a gritty Dust 2 so far between these two sides. Renegades at massive disadvantages now. Forest with the AWP towards B, Pits with the AWP towards A. What is your play, Renegades? They've got one flashbang as well. That's all their utility. No smokes for short, no smokes for A ramp, no smokes for the site. They've got one flash, and it is a gauntlet run. However, the bomb is lurking in B site at the moment. So what are they going for here? They don't have the nades for a cat drop. Yam just walks to his death. And Rickey's alone, having to walk into the angle. But that's a nasty surprise. Get right, charging in. Had Forest backing him up as well with the AWP. Leaving JKS alone. And we might have Freiberg pushing long. Indeed we do. So JKS, maybe he'll get picked off soon. Horrible round for Renegades.
I wonder if... I think NiP... I don't think they're going to keep the 3 AWPs. Surely they'll swap out back for the M4. There we go, yeah. Get Right is going to pick up the M4 in the end. I was, for a split second, I was worried that they were going to continue with 3 AWPs. It's never really a good idea against a solid team, I don't think.
Especially not when they're about to go into eco territory.
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't really make much sense. But they do go back to the double AWP. So they're fine. They're fine. Everything's okay. 3-4 as NiP start to get some momentum here. If they get a clean round here, it's going to be interesting to see how things start to go for them when Renegades get the buys underway, because we haven't really seen too much double AWPing from NiP just yet. And quick long take coming in from Renegades.
Counter flashes with perfect timing and nades as well. Exists. Can he get any frags though? He's flashed. Everybody's blind, but he's still getting frags. Freiberg is coming in as well. 2 kills for Freiberg. And just the pistols onto Ustillo and Azza. They played the numbers game, but the numbers not in their favor. They have not indeed won lottery. 12 HP on Ustillo. There he goes. Lovely stuff from Freiberg. 3 kills for him. Shut down. Man buns, I am told. Yeah, I think the man bug is new for Rain.
Yeah, I was surprised when I saw that earlier. I was just like, is that a thing now?
Hashtag Parler. He's got the biggest bun.
That's true.
4 rounds for each team at the moment. Renegades on the bye after their eco round, but AWPs are not on their side for the time being. If they win the round, high chance they will have an AWP stolen from NiP. NiP is the usual long take, and we're off to a slow start.
Forrest looking, cursory glance down middle for him, but he's going to finally back away, leaving assist to keep tabs on middle, as he's been doing so well at so far in this matchup. And Renegades taking some more standard timing on their cat control, but they're still much faster than most teams. The general pace from Renegades is much faster than most teams, from what we've seen in the first 8 rounds. Now Pitts, he's going to be put to the test here. If Renegades are on point with this A push, they will have the flashes and the smokes to make Pitts' life incredibly impossible in finding a single shot. We'll have to see, because if Pitt gets a couple free shots, that's probably a couple players dead.
Nice Molotov from Pitt. That may thwart the grenade plan from the Renegade side, but they're going to move into position to go for the short plant. They're checking the Goose position. Nice headshot onto Ustillo. Spots the player Azza towards Goose, but he's gone back. Bomb planted for short. NiP charging in the close quarters with Pitt covering for the long range. Azza goes down towards Gandalf. That leaves 3 players left, but one well out of position. That is JKS. He is miles away.
Brute force retake, defuse straight away. And I love that we saw from Pitt the decision making there. He realized when he sees like 3 or 4 nades sailing in like that, he's like, I don't need to challenge this. I just do not need to challenge this. He falls back and away, and he realizes that it's quite a long run, so he doesn't even have time to actually double scope, which you normally see a double scope from his position. But he knows, again, he has the cognizance to realize that if in that window that he goes for the double scope and has to re-aim, he might actually get peaked. And that's exactly what would have happened, but he didn't double scope. Hits a pinpoint shot with a single scope, and his teammates rebound off of it. It's beautiful stuff from NiP. Very confident retake, and that brings it to a 5 versus 4. And now Renegades, they're in a spot where they have to respect NiP's ability to hold on to the A bomb site when they just run this raw push into the A bomb site.
Tactical timeout from Renegades has come and gone. And yeah, lovely positioning from Pitts, and he discouraged Renegades from holding on the site as well, moving back towards short, and allows NiP to run up ramp almost for free. Again, the usual take of long from NiP with the assisted grenades. But seems that Renegades are going to charge in there. Freiberg may be forced to back off. He's on the corner for the time being, flashed, and he will run away. His teammate's too deep towards short to help him at the long range. So there we go, 4 Renegades players in long. Will they abandon it completely? Will they leave players in ramp? They don't have an AWP. But Rikke will start on the ramp regardless. They've got Ustilo in lower tunnel. And again, you see NiP, they will respond with aggression towards shorts.
Yeah, this is a classic response. And the thing as well about this is that Renegades should realize the response. And one thing you can try to do is then, as the Ts, you can take everybody out along, apart from maybe one guy, and then try to brute force with 4 players onto catwalk with grenades. Because the CTs, it's very hard for them to hold the short position. It's very hard to effectively get kills against grenades. It's very hard to fall back. So you kind of force them to that spot, and then it's favorable for you, and you can punish it. However, Renegades are actually leaving 2 on long, and they're deciding to take the 3 players remaining with the bomb towards the upper dark area. So they're going to run somewhat of a distraction towards the A bomb site, trying to pull rotation, trying to occupy players. Ooh. Nice flick comes in from Rikke. Still, he does get traded somewhat easily. And NiP, they now know what's going on as Get Right retreats. Or do they? Get Right.
It's a trap!
Oh man, do they not realize? Now they realize. Thank God. Get Right straight back in there.
Charging immediately into the site, but he almost gets a frag onto Yam. Yam in an awkward position. Ustilo putting in work in the meantime. Ustilo, one of the beasts of the Renegade side, puts him at a man advantage, but we've got Forest creeping in the tunnel. He's got 2 players to find. Spots Ustilo crouching. Oh, it's straight in his dome, son. But they've still got the site for the time being. Pit in the middle of it, though. Azza gets traded, and it's Yam. That clock is not far ticked just yet. The season coming out. Yam's got to be very careful. He needs to stay alive for just a few more seconds, but he can't do it. The kit's there. It's going to be a close one. I think he's got it. Forest with the retake. That is ridiculous.
With the last bullet of the CZ, he gets the kill onto Yam. That confidence. And there must have been a miscommunication as well. You see Get Right, running away from the bomb site, and then suddenly, having to sprint back again. That must have been some miscommunication. Someone must have told him, because I think if Get Right was in a position where he should have been able to hear that the bomb, or at least that there were multiple players going onto the B bomb site there. So interesting stuff. Clutch from Forest there was just absolutely remarkable, and that's going to be putting NiP in a very good position potentially if they're able to capitalize on this round. Quick take on to long position from Renegades. She's still going all the way through there, flash through the smoke, but into the clutches of pit he goes, and Renegades will see that and realize this is a bit more than we bargained for.
Yeah, looking to catch somebody out of position on long, but NiP backed off towards A very quickly indeed, and they retain their full team. Still 2 AWPs on the NiP side. That means they can leave, well, actually, they even Get Right alone towards B in case fast rotation was required. Forest in position to hold an angle towards ramp if there was any cross from Renegades. And again, an aggressive position towards short once they know Renegades are in control of long. So last time Renegades made this play, it was a fake. This time the entire team is in tow. What will NiP make of this?
Yeah, Renegades straight onto the A site. NiP, we've seen them give up the A bomb site multiple times so far, but previously they did have some control of long. And this time Pit's going to be on short, looking for the shot. Very nice Molotov boost into elevator to get a nice angle for NiP to get a frag, but they won't get one just yet. They're still alive with 5 though, as Exist tries to round the corner. More smokes coming in. That's going to tell Exist there's 1 player on long at the very least. In comes the fragging though, but the trades are strong. Still a decent position for Renegades, but just down to Rikke. 1 versus 3. Can he clutch it again?
He's close, but not quite. Can he make the right guess? No, Pit over the smoke. Takes another round for NiP. Many close rounds, but they keep going the way of NiP. Very strong on Dust 2 in the retakes. Historically, we've seen some quite exquisite ones from them, and they're doing well at the moment. They've got loads of money in the bag as well. We have another timeout from Renegades, a tactical timeout. They've got north of $4,000, but less than 5,000 across the entire team. That may limit what they can buy. Likely no AWPs. The only person who could drop one is JKS, but then he'd have no armor. So one would expect 5 AKs to come out for the side. And double AWPs continue for NiP. They've not been broken yet.
We have seen some great clutches so far from both teams. That one round from Forest was just incredible. And NiP will continue in their double AWPing ways. Forest staying on his. And often enough, I mean, obviously on the CT side, Pit is going to be the choice for the AWPing, as he just will play a bit more statically towards A. But when they have enough money, you see Forest AWPing on the CT side, that's because he can be more, he wants to play dynamically.
Dan, look at this. There's a four-man suicide play from Renegades. They're trying to play some weird off angles to take NiP by surprise, and they picked off Freiburg straight away over towards short.
They continue the charge. Now they meet Pit. Now there's no nades. And Pit will be tested. Pit will pass the test for flying colors, gets himself a double, flashes himself back into long. Very good cognizance there from Pit. Realizes he's done his job. Now he just has to hold the long position. Doesn't go for the glory play. And once again, NiP, they give up the bomb plant, but they're in a 4 versus 2 with the best retake positions they could ask for.
No control of long or short for, well, JKS. That's all that remains of Renegades for the time being. How many can he pick off? There's the one, avoids the flashbang. Exist coming up on the box, and that will be enough. 3 players remaining for NiP. Again, there's loads of cash in the bank. They just keep winning rounds with both these AWPs in tow, and they continue their charge. That's 6 rounds in a row now for NiP. Renegades, though, they're improving. The last 3 rounds, they've planted the bomb, but everything falls apart afterwards.
And one of the great things here as well that we're seeing is that typically on a lot of maps in Counter-Strike, one side is much easier for the retakes, and the other side is you want to give it away less because it's much harder to retake it. And that would be the B-bomb site on this map in particular. And NiP, they're showing us that their retake game for A is so solid at the moment. They're not throwing away any risky positions or trying to overextend when they should be getting, you know, map controls. We saw Pit just go for. I mean, and that just gives them such a great situation. And again, right at the start of the round, Forest picks off a player. That's Yam gone. And it seemed like Renegades wanted to charge into B, but the smoke will deny them as well.
Such an early frag for Renegades. Get right, just waiting with the flashbang he can face at the same time of way through it. And again, the push from Renegades is being absolutely crushed. Not a single kill for them. JKS out of position, trying to cut off rotators. But there'll be no kills for Renegades in this round. And indeed, it only took 36 seconds. 2 rounds remain. NiP running out of places to store all the cash on their team.
They are playing very well at the moment. They are playing very, very well. We're seeing some awesome clutches. We're seeing great team play. We're seeing good tactics, but we're also seeing from individuals like Pit in particular. Whenever this A site gets taken, he makes the correct decision every single time. He'll get 2 frags. It looks like it's a crazy flurry of kills, and you could get caught up in the moment. But no, he brings it coolly and calmly into the best decision for then map control. It's just great to see that, and that's why they're 9-4 right now. Yeah,
Pit's doing a very good job at limiting risk while putting his team at an advantage. Good balance. Speak of the devil and he shall appear. Ricky gets taken down early. No response from the Renegade side. Just Eagles in what remains of the team. Saving money for the last round. That flash will allow them to get closer towards short. But again, it's a gauntlet run. That's all they have afforded to them as they're waiting for Pit to overextend. But it's Pit that will be delivering the one AWP shot to the face.
Someone told me Pit had food poisoning, James. That person is a liar. He is playing amazingly right now. Absolutely amazing stuff. What can you do with the Eagles in this position? Could outpick AWPs and AKs. It is also awesome when on the CT side you get to the point where all your riflers have AK-47s, all of them. That feels amazing.
The problem here as well is that picks for Renegades are irrelevant at this point because of the money on the NiP side. They need to win the rounds, or it's all for nothing. Desperation plays coming in. JKS still alive with his teammate Ustilo against 4. That clock's running down as well, but they've got many targets. But they are the target boards themselves, and they will be riddled with holes. 10-4, last round of the first half coming up. We'll see what kind of buy Renegades can muster.
NiP, all they have to keep doing is just keeping on track with what they have been doing. I mean, they've been giving space to Renegades, but in spots where they always know, okay, if we give up this amount of space on the map, then this is the optimal reaction that we have to then execute ourselves. We have to perform ourselves. Very good at understanding that, where the openings are, and Renegades being put to the test to try to defeat this brilliant Dust 2 play we're seeing so far. And Forest has been largely unchallenged in middle as well. That's something else to take into account here. Whenever he wants to play the AWP in middle, he often can get his pick. This time he's going to fall back a little bit. As once again, Renegades take Catwalk at a timing that is fast for most teams, but somewhat standard for them.
JKS lurking around long. Freiburg is there as well. And Pitt's been playing short and long with the AWP, so maybe Renegades think there is a hole in the armor towards A, but they've yet to find it. Minutes on the clock. 3 players around short for the Renegade side. JKS deploying a flashbang, which will pull Pitt away from short for a brief time. But he's back in position. Exist in CT spawn. Rick still lurking towards B for time being, and the bomb seems to be rotating as well.
Going for the cat drop into the arms of Exist. Exist can't carry Azza. Looks like it's going to be a trace all over the place. Forest has a lot of shots to make. He pulls out the CZ, finds himself a quick one. Now the AWP comes back out as he circles his way around to the doors, but denied by Flames at every turn. Finally finding himself an opening towards the window as Renegades set themselves up post-plant, but there's only 2 players. Forest emerges. Forest strikes. 4 kills for him in the round, and NiP close it down. The problem is you've got Forest on one side of the map, Pitt on the other side of the map. Where do you go?
There is nowhere to go, not in that half. 11 rounds for for NiP to the 4 of Renegades. That is a very strong performance for an NiP who might not even be firing on all cylinders, considering 2 of their players are not feeling very well today. So Pitt will be hoping that this match is over sooner rather than later. There is a pistol to come, though. And anything can happen in that. NiP now afforded the freedoms of the T side. So maybe life will get harder for Renegades. So maybe a short delay, though, before this pistol round starts.
And there's so much freedom for NiP to operate within at this point. On Dust 2 as T side, you know, as soon as they get the AWPs rolling, and as soon as we see Forest on the AWP, if he's continuing in his precision and in the confidence that he has, then he's going to give the team openings. And then from that point forwards, it's all about understanding how to play off of them. And NiP should realize that. And here we can see the the 2 best performers individually from both teams. Obviously, Pitt was absolutely killing it, just holding the A side of the map. And Ricky, although he had some great clutches here and there, obviously it was an 11-4 scoreline, only 4 rounds for Renegades. A lot of those openings, a lot of those clutches, they didn't really amount to much. NiP were too overwhelming.
We see the upcoming matches today. Optic will be heading up against Tyloo. That'll always be interesting. Tyloo with a very local style out there in Asia. Mouse Sports Hellraisers, and then G2 versus Godsend to close out the day. 8 matches coming your way today, and we are in the middle of them now with NiP versus Renegades. Renegades got 4 rounds, then NiP got 10 in a row.
Yep.
You talk about momentum. The unpause has come in, and we are good to start the pistol round with Renegades. Time for them to defend. They've opted for 5 Kevlars. And again, we have a T half, a T team, starting with 2 players on grenades. Freiburg and Get Right will be the utility men.
You gotta love Forest. Forest's eyebrows. Best eyebrows in CS, perhaps. Now, what is the play here? Again, we talked about previously, the double nade man situation for the T side is so common to see. And that's what we see here. Freiburg and Get Right on the nades. No raid bosses, though. But they do have bullets in Azza's face, and he will promptly fall back and away to the A's site. Ooh. It's not looking good here for NiP, losing 2 men immediately, but NiP will try to power through regardless. Are they going to abort this like they are? Back to Catwalk for them.
Ustillo's over towards the A site, repositioning from the ramp, and he's got himself in position just in time. But there's no one in long for the CT side. That's worrying for Ustillo. Puts him in a very awkward position and limits how he can peek. Az is coming in for support, but he's heavily tagged. Forrest waiting around long. NiP have time to play with, maybe giving some time for Renegades to perhaps make an error. Maybe Renegades wondering if they've over-rotated. Now, but Get Right's coming out, and Ustillo will take him down with ease. Lovely positioning from Ustillo, playing the off angle, and it pays off. Exists now with the bomb alone on shorts.
I've seen him do crazy things on this map, so don't want to count Exist out. Although that Glock instead of a USP will be quite hard to make things happen with. Forrest, he can be the man, though. He's got good engagement. He's matched close distance. Can he get the kill onto the bomb site? Ustillo, a couple bullets. And now that's going to allow Exist to move forwards. Just trying to crunch Ustillo here, constrict him from both sides. But it's going to be Forrest now who's alone against 3 more players. Has to get the aces. 2 HP. Can't get tagged again. Finds himself a frag as he goes down, which will afford him a scout and perhaps a flashbang in the force buy, but Renegades will win the pistol round.
Now the question arises, will Renegades have a better time of things on the CT side once the buys have come for both teams? As they're picking up the MP9, you still over with the MP7, seeing a bit more MP7 these days. Triple UMP on the other players. Nothing but SMGs and lots of utility for Renegades. A stark difference to what we saw from NiP on their second round, although that was a failure in the first half. One of the 4 rounds Renegades strung together oh so long ago.
This is actually a very scary round because Forest could have just about afford Kevlar as well. He has the ability with the scout to open things up to get tags. So this is definitely quite scary. Renegades cannot put a foot wrong. They've got to be very cautious, and they can't really play ranges very well. Oh, that is a pretty nice nade though. Could have been a bit better perhaps, but I'll take that. 50 damage to exist and 20 to get right. Pretty good.
Yeah, and Renegades, they're relying on their utility, at least at the long ranges. Yeah, I'm over towards the B-bomb site. He's got a Molotov. Ricky not really in a position necessarily to pull out a high explosive grenade unless he backs off towards long. He's holding A on his own for the time being. As in CT spawn, there's a HE grenade. He's going to land in time. It is. It exists out to 4 HP, so he has done great work indeed. Can he hold that bomb site though? There's Freiburg. Failed the first mission. Exist pops off though, and Azza's there with the MP9. He's got that moving accuracy. Forest pick off as well. Can the bomb go down for NiP?
Oh, got to try to get it down. Pit comes off it though because he has no time. He knows that. That could have gone a lot better for NiP. So fortunate for Renegades that despite all the chaos and madness, they were able to get themselves the victory with only 2 players lost and no bomb plant for NiP. I almost felt like NiP were going to win the round. I mean, they got such good positions there. But it is indeed the 11-6 Renegades with the first couple, and now it's a full save for the NiP side. They've purchased a flashbang, and you might expect them to go for a plant play on Catwalk with a run boost or something. That is quite a familiar play, and some teams do this, as we see Azza play aggressively with an SMG, knowing that they don't have Kevlar, to prevent them from making a plant-based strategy work, and this is a good way to do it. In they go. Easy does it.
That play from Azza just reminds me of the TMP runs. TMP runs through lower tunnel. If you ever did a TMP rush back in the day, let me know. Standard affair for me, of course. Would you expect anything else? Okay, straight on the AWP. Upgrades being had from the CT side. Big round for Renegades. Opportunity to really catch up if they can break the buy of NiP in this round. Forest with the Scout versus Ricky with the AWP. See if he can find himself a headshot. Nothing doing just yet in mid.
This is a very fast timing here for NiP down into middle. What is the plan? Are they going to try to go through the double doors? Looks like the pop flash being set up by Get Right at the moment for Pit to go out there. Let's see if Pit can get anything. Out he goes through the smoke. Still flashes from all over the place. Pulls out flashbang in an incredibly exposed position. What on earth is going on right now? NiP start to make their way onto the A bomb site at the same time. Pit disorientated, but still manages to get himself onto the CT spawn position. But Azza is quicker to the trigger. And now it's going to be NiP with 3 players still without a bomb plant.
Very confusing start as far as Renegades are concerned, but they still got a 2-man advantage despite the bedlam caused by NiP. Bomb planted for short though. No control of long, but Freiburg maybe looking to take things back. Molotov's got to be careful. Only 7 HP on him. Can't get a single kill though. Does some damage, but that's it. Exist alone. Too heavily tagged. Can't get anything done either. Just the 1 pick onto the Renegade side. It was a big round. Not only did they win it, but they won it with 4 players. That is huge for Renegades. Just when you thought they were, well, they were down. Definitely not out of it though.
Yeah, and it's definitely a somewhat disappointing start for NiP, as you can see the look across some of the players' faces, Forest and Pit, but they have yet to get the AWP onto Forest, and their playstyle is going to change dramatically in that position. Previously, we saw them with the Scout on Forest, and they played a very fast round, trying to get Pit into CT spawn. He's blind for about 5-6 seconds there, no idea where he was. So very, very chaotic indeed. But when the AWP comes down to Forest, I expect to see much slower rounds as NiP really start to play their picking style, but lots of utility now for NiP. I wonder what the plan is here.
Yeah, that is a boatload of utility. They're heading towards maximum loss bonus, so they can afford to spend all this cash in this round. But do they have a plan around it? They've lost a player early. They're using a lot of flashbangs towards the middle area, maybe trying to force Renegades out of position, potentially split a site, but the bomb's gone down. It's on the floor at the moment. As a charging through City Spawn, that will be a weapon loss. Only 2 players remaining though for NiP, and it's Forest with a P250 and 14 HP, so nothing much for Renegades to worry about in this particular round. JKS could get picked off, indeed he will, straight through the smoke, but I'm not sure if Forest, if there's anything more for him to do in this round. He could go and collect that weapon from JKS, but just going to charge to his doom. Renegades pick up another one.
Mere 3 away now from equaling NiP's score, but NiP themselves are 5 away from winning the map of Dust 2 against Renegades to claim their first win in this Swiss system. That is 3 wins and you're through, 3 losses and you're done. So a lot's on the line for every single map that you play, and every single win is going to be important here for NiP early on, just because, especially against a team like Renegades, very beatable team for them. I'm sure they would like to secure it, get some security in this major qualifiers. And indeed, we're seeing a much slower round now that Forest has the AWP.
As is in a boost position, not the normal one, but a boost position. Well, he was. He's moved now in CT spawn. He's been in CT spawn for a number of rounds on the CT side here of Renegades. Ricky now over towards A with his big green gun. He's got 1 flashbang as well. Should you still require it, maybe he can slow down a push towards short as well. But he's only got that 1 flash, so whatever he chooses, he must choose wisely. Freiburg Pit and Forest around a short position exist, lurking behind the pillar towards B in case any push comes in from the CT side. No such intentions at the moment, it seems, from Renegades. Just passive, waiting for NiP to play their hand.
It's quite cool from Renegades because you can see as well that they respect and realize that the situation could involve Forest with Norb, that NiP will be playing picks, and they themselves playing very passively. NiP now trying to clear the spaces, get some info as to what the setup is like for Renegades, but they're running out of time. They really have to just kind of go for a blind play at this point. They can't sacrifice any more time here. Azza's going to push the smoke, and in he goes. He doesn't even need to do anything. It's JKS all day as Exist finds himself onto the B1 side. But the split comes in again. Azza not quite ready for that one. Pit with the double, and all of a sudden, opportunity strikes. 15 seconds, 12 seconds to plant the bomb. Pit, can he make it? Yes, through the doors and onto the plant, and now it's a retake situation. It looked all over for NiP, but they somehow brought it back thanks to Pit.
Unbelievable how they got themselves into this position, but surely the cat drops coming from Get Right. These Renegades players, their days are numbered. There goes Ustillo. Ricky now, he is sandwiched. The no-scope comes in, but insta-trades. And NiP will take that all day. I thought the round was done for when the bomb is lost in the middle area, but there goes JKS, and Azza, I think he was positioning himself for a flashbang, but the timing was not right. NiP extend their lead once more. Both teams on the bye. Double orbs coming out, but it's not Yam on the second AWP, it's Ustillo. Oh no, he's am I going crazy? I thought I saw an AWP, maybe I didn't. Yeah, I must be wrong. 4 rifles and the 1 AWP onto Ricky. So we'll see if Renegades can get back to winning ways. Their money has pretty much been depleted for this round. After this round, they do not want to lose this. They cannot afford to lose this.
Yeah, that would definitely change. I mean, if they lose this, that's probably a tie game situation. So their lead just evaporates. Playing it much like the last round, although you maybe wouldn't want them to, just due to the fact that in the previous round, they left themselves in a spot where we've got no picks because Renegades are playing very passively. Renegades are forcing us to go for just an execution of some kind of a split or a set piece onto a bomb site. And we have 30 seconds to do that now because we waited for so long. So they need to arrive to that position previously. And we're actually seeing an upper dark push coming in from Renegades. Ricky leading the charge there with the orb trying to open things up. Should there be anybody there? But there is no one there. So now this tells Renegades that with this timing in the round, everyone's either on catwalk or long, readying themselves for a split. So NiP now start to take the disadvantage the longer they wait.
NiP looking to push long shortly, exist and get right, coming out now. Yustilo avoiding the flashbangs, got one of his own, does great work, and he can still get flashes from his teammate if Yam has any. There's another pop flash, get right, completely blinded. Still gets a spray, they're looking for a transfer as well, but Yam will trade, giving his team the man advantage. Freiburg has to go back for the bomb, which I think Ricky has seen, and maybe taken down in the first place. He will rotate elsewhere. Now we've got the CTs all over the place. They've abandoned long, and NiP are charging up short.
Big play to be made here by the remaining 2 players of NiP. A fast approaching 3 members of Renegades make life hard. Freiburg gets himself the double on the trade. That's big work. Does he know where Rick is coming from? He's expecting long, but now the shot's missed by Rick. It gives the positioning away. Freiburg makes it happen. Great stuff there for NiP, a round they sorely needed and will be delivered to them by no less than Freiburg himself. 13-9 the score.
Freiburg just went nuclear, and look what that's done to Renegades. They couldn't lose that round. They've got like $3,000 each. That is brutal. Yam, he had the shot as well. You heard him fire one off. It's NiP with the timeout. Maybe just composing themselves. But that was absolutely mental. Freiburg with a monstrous performance there. 4-round lead now. Likely to be 5. Looking at the money of Renegades.
I like this timeout actually because they're in a spot where they know it's eco time for Renegades, or maybe it's them actually saying or confirming it by looking at the scoreboard, whether it's they're playing against an eco or not, or some kind of half-buy situation. And you don't want to throw that away when you're 13-9 and your economy is still not secure. So for them to just take every precaution to win this next round, I really like that, even if it is just to prepare themselves for the anti-eco.
Game time for NiP, anti-eco time for NiP. JKS with a smoke on flash. Other than that, we have mostly P250s. NiP with time in the bank. Renegades with a short push as Enrique coming in. But NiP not really venturing towards the lower tunnel, and they don't necessarily need to because they've got Forest watching the doors, and Freiburg has gone through a suicide position to this angle. Again, if you have an AWPer in T-spawn, but nobody's around the suicide position, you can't see a short push from the CTs, which is why Freiburg is in this position to stop that from being a possibility. Bomb kept out of sight for the time being as well. Should there be a push, they won't know the bomb's there. Not really a place they'd want to hold it anyway.
And this is actually from the old days when Threat first introduced anti-eco, anti-force spy systems into NiP. You started to see an evolution from them where they basically play very passively at the start, and they mix up the pace at the start just to see if there's aggression. Oh god, Forrest is moving very close. It makes me a bit worried. Flash comes in for the frag still made though, but that will trigger everything. Forrest comes out with a pistol to just murder 2 extra players. That was not what was supposed to happen from Renegade's perspective. They get the AWP, but on Yam, who's got 7 points of health. Forrest defense there. That's all they needed.
That is quite the play from Forest in a high-pressure situation. Pretty much cleaned out the round, but you have to give credit to NiP's positioning at the main time of 2 people just waiting outside B. Great hold from Forest, and that puts them 2 rounds away from taking this match over the line. Ricky back on the AWP, and now we have the scope from Pit. Magic's Boy was tweeting earlier saying, screw the AK, I'm playing Krieg tomorrow, and maybe Pit has been inspired by that.
I love that, that's awesome. I definitely agree with this. It's actually really fun. It's actually really fun to play with the scope. Look at it, James. It's glorious.
I prefer one that isn't so pink, but myself.
That's actually the same skin that I use, actually.
Not judging, though.
I have a Star Trek one as well.
I have the yellow one. The plain yellow one. I can't even remember what it's called.
Pit has better taste than you, that's all I'm saying. This is the round though, James. This is the round for Renegades, where you could argue that they have somewhat equal footing on the weaponry. In NiP, they're getting closer and closer, breathing down the necks of Renegades. The flash comes out. As it's going to say that, what a cool setup this is. I love this setup from Renegades, but it's going to be denied. Freiburg coming in with a double. Rick is going to stand up very tall right now to even the situation.
NiP moving towards the A site, and Get Right's going for biggest flank EU. Flanking all the way around EU to back to North America, in fact. There's a nice pop flash, which I'll talk about later actually, because there's still action to come here. What is the decision from Renegades? Are they going to go for this? or are they going to play against match point? That's the question. The Shadow reveals Ricket's position and get right. Easy for get right. That leaves JKS and Yam in a 2 versus 3. We've got some players who are tagged here, but JKS is the only person with a defuse kit. Look where the bomb is as well. How do you defuse this bomb? They've got the smoke off the pizza sign. Will he check Gusto? Off angle from Forrest, and he's going to get the kill. He was drawing his gun, but still manages to headshot both players. Sometimes nothing goes your way.
Freiburg has been playing so well from an entry perspective and the clutch perspective on the T side. The CT side was all Forest, it was all Pit. In many respects, you know, it all fell to them on the either the A or the B side of the map respectively, but Freiburg has been doing some great work, some high impact fragging from him in some of these very tight rounds, very important rounds. And now we see quad Yump from Renegades. That's never a good sign, nor is that another headshot found by Mr. Forest, as the round is starting off quite well, to say the least, for NiP.
Is this the end for Renegades? On Dust 2. Not the end of the tournament for either side, but, well, we'll see if they can hold on. Some flashes towards long. Rikke gets the kill, but he's rocking a scout at the moment. And how much can we expect from him with that? Pushes through the fire. Pistol kill could come in, but he can't find a frag onto Pit. He's just standing there with 4 HP. Somewhat all good for NiP at the moment. Jack gets more frags. He'll get traded, though. That leaves Rikke alone with the scout jumping. Gives his position away, and that will be that. Pit with the final kill there. 16-9 in favor of NiP. Very strong performance.